Hello and welcome to Yoga with Alicia. This is my YouTube channel which aims to bring good quality yoga tuition and guidance. And today we are going to have our 5-a-day. Like you get told that you need to have up to 5 fruit and vegetables per day to keep you healthy, how about having 5 moves? If you've watched the previous 5 videos to this one, you will know and already have practiced the moves that we're going to do. So without any further hesitation, let's get started. Bring yourself onto your mat into Sukhasana, happy pose. This is a cross-legged position. It's a pose that we all done as children, and that there is pretty much no reason why we are not still doing it into our late teens, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s and beyond. Let's bring our childhood back to us. So get yourself into a cross-legged position. You can start by having the legs out in front of you. Take a nice deep breath in, draw one foot in towards you, rise up through the trunk of your body, get a good grounded feeling of a position, and then with another breath, bring the opposite foot in to cross. Now, for some of us, we might like our toes to go out to the sides. For others, we might like to bring our toes forwards so that our shins are cradled within the instep of our feet. It's your choice. So take a moment here to adjust and adapt your preliminary position. And once you find your seat, close the eyes, bring your head and shoulders above your hips. Imagine almost that there is a wall directly behind you and the bones of your spine are all connected with the wall, so too the back of your head. This helps give you that natural sense of alignment. Think about lifting internally and externally, rising up with every breath, having expansion of the thorax and the lungs having been inflated. You feel this natural lift upwards and expanding across front of chest, drawing in the oxygen that is going to feed and nurture every living cell that makes up you. From this position, we are going to forward flex the spine. The origin of this movement is in the hips. So think of picking the hip bones up away from your femur bones, your thigh bones. Keep a nice straight spine as you begin to hinge forward. Bring the fingertips out in front of you and they will slowly walk forward too. Always taking your time, because you remember that no force is required. Indeed, your body wants you to be tender, loving and careful with it. It's going to respond a lot happier if you take your time. So if you feel like this is too much, just take yourself back a little bit. Get in with your breathing. Make the inhalations and exhalations super long so that you take in good quality air and oxygen, and give time for the body to receive the instruction that the mind is offering, asking, giving. Now once your fingers are out in front of you, you can bring palms of hands, heels of hands down. You can flex the elbows down, maybe 3 times. Letting go of the back of your neck, allowing the skin there to be smooth. Decrease the skin at the back of the neck. And for restacking the bones of the spine, you will pull the stomach in, You will activate and engage your abdominal muscles because they are the support framework for your spinal cord. You find yourself back to a central position, uncross the legs and then recross in the opposite direction. So again, finding a nice foundation, your natural, comfortable seat, happy pose, have a smile as you practice. Ensure that you're rising up with every breath in. It's right down from the pubis, pulling up towards the navel, from the navel coming up to the chest and the breastbone here, rising to the third eye, the crown and beyond. And then once you have this beautiful elevation, you take the mind back to the hips and tell them to lift. Create space in the hip joints, and then you are able to hinge forward. Also bear in mind that you have a joint about 3/4 of the way up your spinal cord, which often leads to this sagging where you think you're bending from deep down in the origin, but you're actually just bending the upper quarter of your body, of your torso. So keep the spine straight as you hinge forward and allow yourself to reach through the arms to take those hands out. Of course, all of this extra stretch and reach will only come with patience and perseverance in your practice. Once your fingertips are out in front of you, you can bring the palms of the hands down, the heels of the hands, maybe flex the elbows. And remembering that if you are down nice and deep into the position, are your buttocks still grounded or are they lifting away from the floor? If they are lifting away from the floor, then you need to rise up a bit, get your seat firmly grounded, and lift the trunk of the body from there. Stay observant of your breath. Lovely long breaths. And then engage the stomach as you re-stack the bones of the spine, returning to your upright, seated, happy position, ready to transition to the next pose. So in video 2 of this week, we done star position. So let's now bring the soles of our feet to touch. Let's link our fingers and observe here, do you immediately link your fingers in the certain way that you would always do? For instance, do you always have the left index finger on the top? If so, just unlink and then relink, taking the right index finger on top, or vice versa. Whichever it is for you, just do the one that doesn't feel quite so normal. Okay, so star position, we're lifting up from deep down in the base once again, pulling pubis up to navel internally. Think about lifting the flesh on the trunk of the body as well, especially around the hips and the stomach and the waistline. Draw all that flesh up towards centre of the torso, around the rib cage, the thorax. Nice deep breath in through the nostrils, and then begin to bend those elbows out to left and right hand side whilst you're bringing them forwards in front of your shins. Again, taking the time to realise that if this is too much for you, then you could actually just have the hands resting at the ankles or on the shins and just doing that slight hinge to start with. You have to start somewhere, but it's good to be careful
loving and tender with the self. So once you're getting into that forward bend of star position, you then want to release the back of the neck, take out those creases, allow the head to drop forward. You can now relinquish the right hand and stretch the right arm forward and have that lovely organic stretch from the shoulder all the way to the fingers. And then you're going to bend at the elbow, bringing right elbow out in line with right knee, and that right hand is going to tuck underneath the right shin, and it will go onto the mat in between your legs. And then the same with the left hand. Let's take it out in front of us. Let's stretch from left shoulder to left hips. Let's bend the left elbow, bring it out in line with the left knee, and then draw that left hand underneath the left shin. Folding forward, closing the eyes to have deep communication between mind and body. Observing any pockets of tension that you might be holding on to, which you could breathe into and out of, allowing surrender to take place. And then gently releasing the hands, engaging stomach, restacking vertebra of the spine, star pose. To now transition into seated mountain. You can do seated mountain with star pose legs. You can return to a cross-legged position, or you can draw one heel in towards your pubis, your perineum, and then opposite heel in front, so that you have two heels level, whichever feels most comfortable for you. So seated mountain is going to help our alignment, and it's also going to give us great strength of trunk of body. It's going to tone our arms, the muscles in our arms. So let's reach our fingertips out to the side. Let's relax our shoulders down as we take a breath in and feel the expansion in our torso as the fingertips rise to shoulder level. Let's rotate the arms from the shoulder girdle, so you're not just rotating at the wrists or the forearms, you're actually taking all of the arm to turn, and then slowly keeping those hands rising, getting to the point that feels right for you, and if it's here, then remain here and communicate on a deeper level. Synchronize with your breath. If you can, keep rising those hands up until the tips of the fingers touch. And then do the fingers and the palms of hands start to touch, the heels of the hands coming together. And get the heels of the hands over the crown of the head. Your elbows are aligned with their respective ears. So avoid having your hands forward like this. You really need to start getting the hands over the head, opening out the front of the chest, drawing your scapulars, shoulder blades towards each other. And breathe. Unclench your teeth. Peel the tongue away from the roof of your mouth. Remember, at any time, if you need to rest or release, then do so. Treat yourself carefully, lovingly, tenderly. It may look as if the pose is static, but there is a lot going on. Communication from the mind to the body, telling parts of the body, the flesh, to lift, to engage, to activate, asking joints, bones to loosen, release, surrender. This is a great position for reducing fatty deposits around the waistline, the stomach. And then gently lowering the hands, the arms, softening, surrendering. From seated mountain, we'll transition into Japanese sitting position. So let's undo our feet from the pose that you had and bring yourself round to sit onto both knees and to draw the buttocks down towards the heels of the feet. Now, if you find that this is a little bit uncomfortable for you, you could always put a cushion under your knees or a cushion underneath your buttocks, between your buttocks and the heels of your feet. Again, we're looking at getting that beautiful alignment of your vertebral column. So you want your head and shoulders to sit directly over your hips. Just resting your hands on your thighs for now, closing your eyes to tune in, checking around the body that any pockets of tension are released. There is absolutely no need to harbour any tension or contraction of muscles not being used at the moment. Allow yourself to surrender into the position. If you'd like to take pose of contemplation, simply turn one palm upright, let's say right hand, so the right palm is upright. You turn the left palm, put it on top of the right, and then get thumb tips to touch. And for our last transition to pose 5 of our 5 a day, bring your hands and fingertips forward. Nice deep breath in as you lift the buttocks away from the heels of the feet. Turn the toes under and then walk the hands back towards either side of the hips and bring the knees upright. Raise the knees. So you're actually on your tippy toes now. This position is excellent for bringing mobility into your toe joints, your bones there, the phalanges. Now, to begin with, if you need your fingertips to stabilise you, then allow that to happen. If you can, bring those hands to rest onto your knees. Get your head and shoulders over your hips and tune into your breath. Remember to continually have the deep abdominal muscles activated and engaged. They are the support framework for your spine. Nice strong stomach, nice strong spine. Let the breath flow. Stay relaxed at the shoulders. Stay rising up through your torso. Keep that lift internally. And then bringing the hands to the mat and coming down onto your buttocks and extending, stretching
the legs out in front of you. We'll take ourselves down to the mat to rest in a supine pose. Shavasana. Draw your chin down towards your chest. Let your toes drop outward. Roll your arms away from the sides of your body, knuckles into the floor, fingers curl naturally. Allow there to be space between your fingers. Loosen and let go. In the safety of this practice, allow the earth beneath you to support you. Surrender the weight of your body to the ground and just be. A minute or so here can do so much to replenish the systems of your body, can rejuvenate the mind, replenish oxygen levels in the brain. Very beneficial. And then you can give the toes a bit of a wiggle, move the fingers, engage the stomach as you return upright. Sukhasana. Happy pose, cross-legged. Our second childhood being relived, reinvented. Bring the hands together in Namaste, rest them at your heart, and give thanks to yourself for getting on the mat and practicing your 5 a day. We look forward to seeing you next time. Namaste.